10 seconds. Stand by.
First look at our ladies here today on day number 1. Our 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games East Regional. Do the rundown of our ladies here. Starting off down in lane number 20, Ocean State CrossFit Zone, Ashley Cornell. Lane 19, CrossFit Arcs, Lauren Connor. Out of CrossFit 201, Stacy Marino. In lane 17, Cormier CrossFit's Michelle Tremblay-Bouillon. In lane 16, out of CrossFit Waterloo, Amber Perron. Lane number 15, CrossFit Steams, Michelle Kwok. Lane number 14, out of CrossFit Parallax, Rachel Goldenberg. And lane 13, out of CrossFit Shrewsbury, Claudia Vasquez. Lane number 12, by way of CrossFit Harpoon, Madeline Sinkowski. In lane number 11, CrossFit Aurora Central's Nikki Matarazzo. In lane number 10, CrossFit YKV, Kate Kennedy. In lane number 9, out of CrossFit Closer, Leah Dean. In lane number 8, out of CrossFit 516, Elise Persico. From CrossFit Cambridge, in lane number 7, Caitlin Anapolsky. In lane number 6, from CrossFit Union Square, Elizabeth Adams. In lane number 5, Pascal LeBlanc. In lane number 4, out of CrossFit Red Zone, Michaela Greco. In lane number 3, out of CrossFit Free, Sarah Mitchell. In lane number 2, out of KMK CrossFit, Courtney Sims. And rounding out the heat, out of CrossFit Hideout down in lane number 1, Abby Graham. Dylan, we're keeping things status quo for the ladies, starting off with that 3,000 meter concept 2-row before they can dismount, walk themselves underneath that massive rogue rig for 300 double unders. And then they will hop on top of that assault air runner for a short little 3-mile run. And we're gonna give them 49 minutes or send them on their way. But I'm gonna be positive. I think we're gonna be finishing up under that 49-minute time cap. A lot of our ladies already pushing that 1,000 meter mark as we come up on the 4 minute mark. Our concept 2 rowers are counting down that 3,000 meter. Everybody right around 2,000. We'll see how it plays out. Dylan down in lane number 15, Michelle Kwok underneath 1,700 meters remaining. Claudia Vasquez under 1,700 meters remaining, as is Kate Kennedy in lane number 10. Moving out in front, down in lane number 4, Michaela Greco, less than 1,500 meters remaining.
So as you mentioned, Mike, over the midway point for these ladies on the row. As we pass that 7-minute mark. A lot of them hovering right around the 2-minute pace for that 500 meter. One athlete on the left side of the floor staying consistently under that, lane number 6, Liz Adams. Coming up on just 1,000 meters to go. Michelle Kwok, CrossFit's team, also staying under a 2-minute 500 meter pace. She's got 870 meters remaining. Lane 18 as well. Stacy Marino with but 880 meters left before she'll advance onto the dubs. Greco, lane number 4, seems to have the lead. She's got 630 meters remaining. Repping CrossFit Red Zone. Got to watch her team earlier today contend through their first 2 events as we wait to see who the first athlete off of those Concept 2 rowers is gonna be. And it looks like at the 9:33 mark, Greco is gonna have just 500 meters remaining. So there you see the judges' hands up in the air, indicative of the athlete's last 500 meters remaining. So Adams also in contention to come off around first. Or will it be Greco? Blue shorts, white shirt, purple tape. Elise Persico also into her last 500. So 120 to go for Greco, 150 to go for Adams. Who is going to unstrap those feet and move on up? It is going to be Greco with her final pull, and she will have the advantage.
This is heat one of event one for the individual females, the triple threes. We're now seeing our first few athletes make their way off of the rowers onto the double unders. And I believe that will be Michaela Greco out of the Northeast and CrossFit Red Zone in Newtown, Connecticut. So we have a few coming up. And again, there's 2 heats coming up. This is a 20-athlete heat for the triple threes. The 3K row, 300 double unders, and the 3-mile run, Tanya, which we have seen earlier today. And it has been a really fun test and a fun event to watch how it progresses. So much movement within this 49-minute time cap.
It's a lot of work to get done. It's a longer event, and the thing is, these ladies, it's the first time they're getting on the competition floor in this competition, so it is 3, 2, 1, go, hold back, because you can't go too fast. You really have to watch yourself, watch your pacing on all 3 elements in this event.
The first 2 heats of the men we have watched most of the time, so the majority of the time, if you're first off the rower, you don't end up first at the end of it. Now, Patrick Vellner, I believe, was second or third off the rower, finished third overall in the event, won his heat. He is a veteran, and this is an event where experience is really huge.
The experience, because you know how to listen to your body, how to hold back, how to realize the duration of this event and where the time is to push. A lot of times we see that second half of the run is where the athletes that have set themselves up to get to that point and be in the top, they're the ones that maintain about 1.5 miles to 2 miles in. That's when the athletes who are there usually can stay there.
So watching the double unders, there's 300 double unders here, and we are going to stay with you here until we get our first few athletes make their way to the assault runner. We'll rejoin you a little bit later because they're going to move the chest pieces. Once they get to that, and we lay out here for you at home and let you watch, when they move the chest piece forward, once they get on the runner, they're moving it forward every 400 meters. There are some bigger indicators every 1,200 meters. Once they get to the 4,800, that wraps it up. We'll come back and give you the finish a little bit later. But we want to let you know as best we can who's got the early lead here through the double unders. And it's not a double under work, an event, not a double under test for your regional caliber athletes, but for your athletes in the gym, it definitely is. Yeah,
this event is really all about those double unders. If you are not proficient at them, if you are the average CrossFitter, that seems like it can be intimidating, that number of double unders for a lot of people. These athletes, though, they've seen in the open now double unders the past couple of years, so they know they were coming and they are proficient at them, but they still can be taxing. Even when you're proficient at them, they tax the shoulders, but specifically the lungs. Really, there's a lot of breathing. A lot of times people don't breathe correctly and can stay as relaxed. The other thing is their calves are going to get taxed, and that's not great when you're going onto the runner, when you have a 3-mile run ahead of you, especially when you have to go to an air runner that's going to really force you to use those calves, force you to use a lot of the posterior muscles that some of those athletes don't use when they run on flat, solid ground.
And again, looks like Michaela Greco in lane 4 has the overall lead right now. She was the regionals last year on CrossFit Red Zone's team, but she's going individual this year, just 25 years old. And we'll see if she is the first to get on the salt runner before we let you watch the first several thousand meters of the 4,800 meter run, which is a 3-mile run, part of the triple threes that we saw in the 2014 games. They're running on the runners this year, and but Michaela North is not the first one, and it looks like maybe it's Sinkowski that got on there. Madeline Sinkowski, I believe, and there is Michelle Kwok. So it's going to be lane 13, Claudia Vasquez, is the first one out, followed by Michelle Kwok. Those are your first two. As soon as we get the third runner on, we'll let you watch this for the next several minutes. But again, it's Vasquez in 13. Lane 15 is Kwok. And here we go. And I believe that is Kwok right there in the all white. And there are a few more. But it's Vasquez who had the early lead. We'll let you watch it here again. They're going to move those chest pieces every 400 meters. We'll talk to you a little bit later as we progress along this 3-mile run in the triple threes.
Also jumping on, Anna Polsky. Getting her assault runner moving. Elise Persico and Dean getting started as well. So now folks follow along with their progress. Every 400 meters, as you saw with the gentleman, a judge is going to advance their chest piece. Right now they're working on their first 400. As Vasquez moves on up, Mike.
Vasquez, your leading lady, and now Michelle Kwok in lane 15. Claudia extending that lead during that first 400 meters.
Greco now moving on up. That's 400 meters. Giving a smile as she heard the cheer from the crowd.
So it goes 1, Vasquez, 2, Kwok, and 3, Greco and Kennedy, just about tied for that third place position as we approach the 19-minute mark, Dylan. Our athletes already completed 3,000 meter row on that Concept 2 rower, 300 double unders, and finishing up this first event for them here in the East Regional with 4,800 meter run, roughly 3 miles on that assault air runner. The judges moving their athlete's chest piece every 400 meters down the competition floor. So that's how you'll keep track of your favorite athlete as they march their way down to that red stop mat. 49 minutes, Dylan, is what we're going to give them to complete event number 1. And we're coming up on the 20-minute marker right now.
But Vasquez still hanging on to that lead as the chest piece advanced forward once again. Now 800 plus meters in, working towards 1200. Just a step ahead of the pace. Looking to see who's going to join her past that 800-meter mark, Mike.
Michelle Kwok in lane 15, staying in that number 2 position. Matarazzo in that 3rd position currently as her leading athletes approach that 1200-meter mark.
And Greco, the chest piece moved up again. So your top 5 at least within 400 meters of one another. More than likely less than that. Event 1 of 2 today. Zanopolsky also moving on up as they try to maintain that pace. But continuing to lead here in heat number 1. Vasquez, head down and moving those legs. Maroon leggings, gray sports bra. Not the only Vasquez competing from CrossFit Shrewsbury in the individual division.
That chest piece moving one more time, another 400 meters log for your leader out in front, Claudia Vasquez. Center of your competition floor, lane 13, the gray top, burgundy pants.
Matarazzo also moving that chest piece on up. So you can see 3 athletes in the same position that is working towards finishing up their first mile. Vasquez in first, Kwok in second, and then Matarazzo in third. But don't count out Greco. She was the first one to the runner. We're going to climb back into contention. Mike, how about the event record for this one? Again, this is our first female heat here in the East region.
Coming in from Europe, the event record so far, 40 minutes, 15 seconds, and some change, 40-15. Gabby Magala is holding your current event record. We'll see if we can take that down here today in the East.
And a slew of regional veterans out on the same floor. Liz Adams, for example, competing individually and on a team in the East Regional in the past. Every year, the competition gets better and better as LeBlanc, another regional vet, advancing her chest piece forward. but it still will be Vasquez with the advantage.
Michelle Kwok, lane 15, moving forward, staying on that leading lap in that number 2 position. Vasquez and Kwok. And Matarazzo holding down that number 3, Matarazzo.
Greco's piece moving up as well. And your leaders, folks, through their first mile of running, as their chest piece is in line with the number of meters they're working towards. That is 2,000. So between Greco, Kennedy, Matarazzo, Vasquez, now Anapolsky, Kwok, and more, they're all in line to finish up their first mile and a quarter as we just passed the 26:30 mark. You mentioned earlier, Mike, 49-minute time cap. Some athletes.
Sorry, Dylan, go ahead. Vasquez staying out in front. Just about halfway through her run. She's been leading the entire run so far, trying to extend that lead over Michelle Kwok. And Matarazzo holding down those number 2 and 3 positions. The heat starting to tighten up quite a bit as we get about halfway through that run. Once again, our markers every 400 meters, so the race looks a lot closer than it actually is. And now Matarazzo moving forward to continue that 1, 2, and 3 positions. So now Kwok now moving into 3rd. So Vasquez 1, Matarazzo 2, and Michelle Kwok in 3rd place. Ashley Cornell now making a push down in lane number 20. Purple top, yellow shorts. And she'll be on that leading lap.
Greco also now moving up. So that'll leave 5 athletes in contention to this point. As Kennedy now joins the fun in that leading row. Your visual representation of the lead. Again, this is a repeat event from the 2014 Reebok CrossFit Games, albeit under different circumstances. Outside in Carson, California, we brought it indoors for the regional format. Same concept too, same double unders. Just switching up that outdoor run with the assault runner as Vasquez's chest piece advances once again, Mike. if I'm not mistaken, Mike, Vasquez extending her lead. It's been 30 seconds since her chest piece was advanced. Nobody quite there yet.
And now Matarazzo, I have that at about 50 seconds, about a 50-second lead, Vasquez over Matarazzo. And now closing the gap is Cornell in lane number 20, and now Kwok. So we have some changes. Vasquez 1, Matarazzo 2, Cornell in that third place position with Kwok right there with him. Sedkowski moving forward, another 400 meters.
So I would venture to guess somewhere around a 150-meter lead for Vasquez over those athletes contending for second. As Greco's chest piece moves on up as well. The same consistent 5 athletes staying in that position, or top 5 that is.
Stacy Marino moving forward down in lane number 18. Vasquez moving forward. Approaching that 3,200-meter marker.
Over 32 minutes in. Just under 17 remaining in this 49-minute cap.
Matarazzo in lane number 11, falling off slightly during that last 400 meters, about a minute behind, but at the same time now is Ashley Cornell in lane number 20. So a battle for second even now, as everybody trying to hunt down Vasquez, your leader in lane number 13.
And even our slowest athletes to this point, nearing that midway point of work, 4,800 total meters. Sedkowski moves up to confirm she's halfway through her run. Looking to see if anyone new will move into contention for top 5. You've kept calling out Mike Marino. We'll see if she can crack the top 5, because thus far we've got 6 competitors that are now through 2,800 meters.
Another 400 meters for your leader, Vasquez.
And hey, folks in the crowd, let's remind our athletes that you're behind them. I know this is a long one. Make some noise for them. We're nearing the 35-minute mark, and Vasquez continuing to hang on to that lead, Mike.
Ashley Cornell sliding into that second place position.
And Matarazzo now in third. So they'll round out your 1, 2, and 3. Pretty distinct if you ask me. Vasquez, Cornell, and Matarazzo. And by the way, that means for those athletes near the top, they are officially 2 miles in. That means they're on the home stretch. Final 1,600 meters to go. That means Greco and Kwok also beginning their final mile. Some of our athletes, I see literally lipping the lyrics to the song. Just trying to keep their minds off the pain, I guess, as they look to close out their first event. 36.5 minutes in, Anapolsky now 2 miles in.
Dylan, just a reminder, our event record coming out of Europe, 40 minutes, 15 seconds. 40-15. Roughly 4 minutes from now.
So it still goes 1 Vasquez, 2 Cornell. They've got their last 1,200 meters. And no surprises there, Mike. Matarazzo moving into third, representing CrossFit Aurora Central.
Marino sliding forward just in front of Kwok.
Yep, looks like Kwok has improved her position.
Vasquez staying out in front. Final 800 meters.
Final couple of laps around the track, Mike. As this long introduction to the 2018 Individual East Regional, event number 1, almost in the books for these ladies, especially those near the forefront. Working through their last 800 are Vasquez and now Cornell. And a cheer coming out for LeBlanc and Anapolsky. And there it is again.
Cornell cutting into that lead of Vasquez during that last 400 meters. And now Matarazzo. 1 Vasquez, 2 Cornell, 3 Matarazzo.
And judging by the looks of it, we should get each and every athlete across that line beneath that 49-minute cap. It looks like all of our athletes through at least 2 of their miles.
Final 400 meters for your leader. Center of your competition floor, lane 13, Claudia Vasquez. As we cross over the 40.
Claudia Vasquez within 400 meters of finishing. I'm Jeff Brightwell, and Tanya Wagner is alongside me as we watch this first heat of females attack this test of the triple threes, and it's been pretty neat to watch Claudia Vasquez. She got through the first 1,200 meters first, and she has maintained that lead. Tanya, we've seen a lot of movement at the 2 men's heats. Vasquez got on that runner. She had a 35-second lead on Cornell coming into this final 1,200, 1,600 meters. She slowly just extended that gap. She's 16th out of the Northeast, out of CrossFit Shrewsbury in St. Paul's, New Jersey. And Vasquez, with a soccer background, has shown her cardiovascular endurance.
Her lung capacity, her ability to keep pushing and keep fighting, she got on there. It didn't look the most composed, to be honest, and I'm really impressed that she was able to keep this push and keep the pace, and she really is just holding on here all the way to the end.
Ben Vasquez, Cornell, Matarazzo, Greco, who is the first to the runner, still hanging there in the top 4 to 5. It has been Vasquez who has made the big move, and she'll be done any second now. Sitting at nearly 42 minutes of the 49-minute time cap, Gabriela Migala in Europe did it in 40:15:08. She has the event record so far in Europe, with the East and then later the South to complete the triple threes. So that's how it's lining up right now. All the chess pieces have moved forward. Most of these athletes, all but one, are within the final mile of the 3-mile run. So Vasquez, Matarazzo now has less than 400 meters remaining as well. The name, Nikki Matarazzo, out of the Canada East region, CrossFit Aurora Central in Aurora, Ontario. Played professional soccer in Europe, so that soccer theme continues. A 5-year pro soccer player.
Legs and lungs, that's what we've seen, on the rower, running. That's the main components, if you want to be very generic to this event, is that you're going to have an advantage.
Here comes Vasquez. She's across 42:47, so Vasquez unofficially 42:47, and quietly Stacy Marino out of Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, in CrossFit 201 has moved up into this top 4. Here we go, and it's going to be Connor lane 20, Ashley Cornell out of the Northeast, Ocean State CrossFit, who also has a team in Ocean State's finest here at the regional. She will be in a little over 43 minutes.
She worked hard for that finish, that second place finish in this event, in this heat. She was pushing the last 2 miles specifically. We commented on how hard she was pushing. You could see how red she was, a lot of just exhausted. It looks like it's hot in here. It's not. It's cool in here. We have jackets on. We have goosebumps. But these athletes are working that hard that they are warm.
We'll give you the third finisher in Heat 1 before we get set up for Heat number 2. But we wanted to touch base with you, let you know how things are going. Again, Heat 2 will be chasing, Gabrielle Wakala, who's 40:15. And here we go. And we've got her in, that was Matarazzo, and so those are your top 3 right now. And it was Nikki Matarazzo out of Aurora Central CrossFit in Aurora, Ontario. So your top 3 that Heat 2 will be chasing will be Vasquez, unofficially 42:42, Cornell, Matarazzo. So that's how things are going. A little less than 5 minutes remaining in the 49-minute time cap here. Even here, we'll have Heat 2, the individual females from the Time Union Center in the East Region in Albany, New York.
Marino off of the assault runner. Stacy will run across the line, unofficially 44:44.
And is up now for a couple athletes. Greco being one of them. Lane number 10, Kate Kennedy, the other. But it is gonna be Greco legging it out and crossing the line. Done with 333, right around 45.05.
Michelle Kwok, lane number 15. She'll run across the line just in front of Kennedy.
Mitzel beginning her last 400. We still have 6 athletes, make it 5. Somewhere between 800 and 400 meters to go. But time is getting away from them as we pass the 46-minute mark, Mike. 46 minutes. Sprinting across, and Opolsky closing out the 333. Pascal LeBlanc, the red shirt, done with event number 1.
Tremblay Bouillon now in 17, running across the line.
So we have 10 athletes still on the runners looking to finish up. But just over 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Just how many of them will get it done in time? Looks like we got another finisher, Mike.
Dean will come across the line. Plenty of time to spare. 2 minutes remaining. And running to that line is Lauren Connor. And she'll have plenty of time to spare.
But we're coming down to the wire here. 100 seconds remaining. As none other than Elizabeth Adams, CrossFit Union Square's very own, finishing up 47.27 unofficially. And now's when they need you, ladies and gentlemen. All of them within striking distance to finish this thing up. Let's get behind them, folks. As Mitzel closes it out, Sims and every competitor now to their last 400 meters.
One minute remaining, 1 minute athletes. Perone will come across the line.
"45 seconds. Come on, East Regional." As Elise Persico wraps it up. 48.22 unofficially. Coming up on 30 seconds. 30 seconds left, athletes.
Sinkowski able to make it across the line.
"15 seconds. Counting down 10 seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And with that 1 minute, athletes, 1 minute.
We get set for Heat 2, Event 1 for the females at the Times Union Center in Albany, New York at the 2018 East Regional. I'm Jeff Brightwood alongside Tanya Wagner, and we'll be joined a little bit later on the competition floor by Nick Zielinski. We've seen the males go through both of their heats, the females through one heat. We'll see how heat number 2 does here. And for the first time today, we're going to see the heavy hitters for the females, led by Katrin David's daughter, and they are underway in the 333s. And again, a repeat, Tanya, from 2014.
None of these ladies were there in 2014 at the CrossFit Games, but they all get a taste of it today. It is 3,000 meters on the rower, 300 double unders, followed by a 3-mile run on that air runner. And this event is a long one. They have a 49-minute time cap. All of the heats so far have needed that time cap for someone to finish. They will finish, but we're looking at Katrin Davidsdottir right here, 2-time Games champ, 2016, 2015. Last year, she took a 5th place finish at the Games, and it just doesn't feel as good. So she doesn't want to feel that way again at the Games. She wants to make it there, and I think she wants to make a statement this weekend. I'm really anxious to see what she does in this event, particularly because she does such a great job pacing. When it comes to pacing, when it comes to strategy, she's one of the best. And physically might not be the most gifted right when she first came on the scene, but she had things dialed in where she needed to. And that has just carried with her. So I'm really anxious to see what she does here. She has 3 opportunities to pace out appropriately. And all she needs to do really is just maintain her own pace and not worry about what the other ladies are doing. And when she gets to that runner, I think she'll do just fine.
Let's take a look at what the AAA threes will entail.
It is that 3,000-meter row. It's an uncomfortable pace on the rower, or a distance on the rower, but that's not the only part of this event, because then there's the 300 double unders that will tax them in their shoulders, their calves, but more importantly in their lungs, because then they're going to go to that 3-mile run on the runner where legs fatigued, breathing hard. The last heat, the women were coming off saying that they had cramps, they had stitches in their side, a lot of breathing from the rower and the double unders, that you're already breathing hard going into the runner. So whatever you can do to go slow here and on your double unders will help you when you get on that runner.
Now here's an athlete that I want to watch this weekend. It's Kari Pearce going to break back through. She's been at the Games twice. Nothing wrong with that, actually 3 times. 10th last year. Her breakthrough year was 2016 when she finished in the top 5, and everyone kind of thought maybe Kari's going to be the one that really busts through here and gets an American female back up on the podium at the Games. She's done well at the regionals, but we'll see if this year she can really bust through in this thing.
You know, she has everything there physically, mentally. She was a gymnast. She has that ability to be in high-pressure situations. For me, I wonder sometimes if it's more about she is more of a calculated and a practiced athlete. So maybe the unknown, unknowable, or the unknown events and those ones at the Games where it's just if things are thrown at you left and right, maybe that's the environment she just doesn't excel at. But physically, she has it all there, and I'd love to see more from Kari Pearce. She, you know, the other thing is when you look at women from the USA, when it comes to the leaderboard at the Games, she was second behind Tennille Reed-Berline, who was the only other U.S. woman in the top 10. So Kari Pearce for the U.S., we're pulling forward too.
As a look at the rowers, here we go. Here's one that we want to watch. Caroline Prevost, #1 in Canada, 3rd in the Open. It's Caroline Thibault, excuse me, but she won this region a year ago. We talked about Katrin, we talked about Kari, but this year defending region champ.
Thibault, she's just stealth mode. She flies under the radar. She really doesn't make a big to-do about much of her events, but she really does attack them well. She is a very high competitor and very intimidating competitor when you know you're next to her, because she's always right there. She took the region last year first, and she's not going to be easy to she's not going to give this thing over to anyone, whether it be Caroline Prevost, who we're going to see, or Katrin Davidsdottir.
That is your defending regional champion, Caroline Thibault, and here is Danny Horan, a familiar name. 12th in the Northeast, 124th worldwide out of Champlain Valley CrossFit, Williston, Vermont, 29 years old, an individual Games veteran, also a team veteran with Champaign Valley CrossFit. She's an individual since 2013 at the CrossFit Games, had some unfortunate injuries and then didn't qualify back-to-back years. 2015 was the injury, 2016 she didn't qualify, came back last year, and that was a big deal for her to get back to the Games. She had worked so hard for years to get there. So took a 20th place last year, and she's hoping again to make another run for it. And this is an event that she needs to kind of pace out. I'm not going to say do damage control, but endurance, kind of a question mark. We'll see how she's worked on it in the offseason. Here's Katrin Davidsdottir on your right, and Kari Pearce on the left. Now, a lot of people, we talked about Kari earlier, know her as collegiate gymnast at Michigan, got into bodybuilding and weightlifting, but her endurance is pretty good. Remember how she did at Merck? Her endurance, she should do fine in this event.
She's fine to go the long distance. She has the lung capacity. She had the aerobic ability to do that. And her and Katrin both look very relaxed with their pacing side by side. They can kind of watch for each other where they are on that erg. Katrin is a little bit taller than her at 5'7". Carrie is 5'3", so there's a couple inches. I wouldn't be surprised if Katrin got off of the rower first, only because of that. But I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference for her.
Interesting on the technique. I'll let you talk about Tanya Kari. Pretty efficient now. She's starting to get a little bit bigger lean. Katrin looks like a slower pace maybe on the strokes, but she's really using that lean, getting a lot larger pulls.
We tell anybody new to the erg, the farther back, the bigger you are, the more of that pull you can get. That's the key to this machine, because it only records those meters on the way back. So the bigger the pull you can get, you don't want to shortchange yourself.
And they're about halfway through on the 3K rows. Kari's monitor the number of the top, the meters remaining. She's at about 1,400, and Katrin maybe a pull or two behind. Very steady. The stroke count in the bottom left-hand corner. Katrin about a 23, about a 23, 24 for Kari, and right now just power output. You don't want to be up over 30, especially a long event like this.
No, and that's the thing. It is hard to hold back because it's your first event, first portion of this event. And so really being able to just maintain your meters and kind of just zone out if you can, and just kind of watch that second line just maintain where that your pool is. If you're right about a 2-minute around that for your 500-meter pace, you're okay. But you need to just be able to just settle into that and know what you can comfortably do for that duration.
All right, well, here's Caroline Reason-Thibault. We've talked about her on the right, the defending champion, but someone who's popped up in the Open this year, well, you've heard about her on the update show, Caroline Prevost. She's just to the left in that black tank top. First in Canada East, third worldwide. She's at a CrossFit Coliseum in Ontario. She's leaned out a little bit, looking for that breakthrough. She's always been kind of lingering, moved up from 22nd in 2014 to 2015 in the region, bumped up to 18th in 2016 last year, 10th place in the top 10, looking for this one to really bust up, get into the top 5, make her way to the games.
And at 28 years old, that's really impressive. On the women's side, we usually see the athletes a little bit later in their age, later in their 20s, actually perform better than the younger athletes. In some cases, I think that's the case here for Caroline Prevost. She's been around now long enough, knows what kind of where her weaknesses are, her strength, dialed some things in the off season, and to be in Worldwide Open in that position is just so impressive that I'm really anxious again to see when you see that in the Open and you see, you're at your affiliate, they're the ones judging you, they're the ones counting your reps in the Open. I can't wait to see what happens here and really for her to prove herself here at the region.
Nice view here. You've got Kari Pearce in the middle. And the gray and yellow top. Just off to her left is Christine Best in the white and the black tights, third in the Northeast. And then Catherine Davidsdottir was off to the right. Again, Kari Pearce and Catherine Davidsdottir should be under 1,000 meters remaining on the 3,000 meter road. Then they'll get on to the 300 double under. So about nearing 750 here. So they're kind of getting near the end. And as you mentioned, Tanya, here's where you got to play the mental game with yourself. Most gyms, most boxes say, hey, let's do a 500-meter warm-up row. Don't get to 500 meters here and try to do that 500-meter sprint.
No, and that's usually the last portion. It's like, oh, I know how to push a 500. I can do that. And you start counting your strokes and you start dialing in a little bit. But there's really no need. There's no need to do that here. It hasn't paid off for anyone else to do that. So if they've watched or paid attention or listened to their coaches, they won't either. But it's very tempting to do.
Very few of the athletes that exit the rower early will finish this event high. Now, Patrick Beller did a great job. He knew what he was doing. He knows where he's been. He came off third in the rower, finished third overall in the event. He won his heat.
That's where sometimes in competition, even when you know it and you say, I really shouldn't push at the end here, it just feels so bad when you're that competitive. All of these athletes are competitive or they wouldn't be out here. You don't want to feel like you're just holding back when you know you can give more and, oh, maybe I'll just push a little bit so I can get off first. You don't want to be back there sitting there because it feels like an eternity, 10 seconds on the rower when everybody else is moving forward. But don't do it, ladies. And then you start to hear the floor announcers calling names of hands in the air. That adds a little more pressure. So you do see the ladies do push a little bit more, but there are still so many minutes left in this event.
Especially in a longer event like this, when the hand goes up, you're like, are they 100 meters ahead of me, or how far behind really am I? Veteran move there by Kari Pierce. You saw her shaker bottle down there. Stay hydrated. You know, you do this event for 35, 40 minutes. If you can grab a swig before you get on that jump rope or even on the runner, that'll help out.
Jeff, you just mentioned Kari Pierce, the veteran move, getting that water as she's rowing. She's a 3-time games qualifier. She knows what it takes in these situations. And talking to her before this event, she said essentially what we heard from Patrick Vellner. You got to play your game, not get influenced by these outside factors. She said by the time she gets to that 3-mile run, she might let those pylons do some motivating, but at the same time, it's essentially 20-plus minutes of running, so you got to time that push. She did say, though, the real test from this event is going to come later in the weekend. Fueling and recovering properly will be key to the success of her and other athletes, especially with 5 events to go. And so while the results may not be desirable in this event, the benefit from her proper fueling, proper nutrition, proper recovery may benefit her in the long run, as we have in event 1 of 6.
Thanks a lot, Nick. You saw Kari Pierce get off first at about 11:55. Right next to her was Christine Best, who we mentioned a little bit earlier. Christine Best just a few seconds behind her. So Kari Pierce, 11:55, and that's a little bit off the event record pace. Here locally in the East, Claudia Vasquez in the prior heat, 42:47 unofficially. Gabriela Magala got a 40:15 in Europe earlier today, but these athletes worried about trying to win this heat, win the event. Katrin David's daughter now on to the double unders as well. All right, we talked about this earlier. Tanya, we all like to emulate our heroes, the games athletes, the regional athletes we watch. Second time we've seen the triple threes. I'm sure some people have taken a try at it over the years after we saw it in the games the first time. For regional games caliber athletes, it's about getting on to the run, finishing that 3-mile run. For everyone in the gym, it's probably a matter of getting stuck on double under somewhere. You don't want to take 10 minutes trying to knock out 300 double unders.
No, you don't. And it's always fun to, repeat workouts, or retest events in your own gym. And so if you want to test this one, you can do it without the double unders. Just do singles. You can double your singles and do 600 singles. You can shorten and cut your doubles in half, in a quarter, whatever you can do. But I wouldn't go more than about 3.5 minutes in worth of double unders. But it's still going to give you the same stimulus of the jumping and the rower, and then go for a run, even if you don't have that runner. But give this one a try. It's something that everyone can do, and you can get a little hint, just a taste of what these athletes are up against.
And we talk about a double under, a skill. And it is a skill. It's something you have to practice on a consistent basis, because some days you have a double under day, sometimes you don't. And veteran CrossFitters at the boxes know about these. For the newbies, or if you're just watching us for the first time saying, I used to jump rope in elementary, how's this testing my fitness? Well, get a jump rope, you can set it up, try about 25 double unders, see how that works for you.
You can try as hard as you want, but if you don't have that skill, you won't be able to do it. This isn't something you can muscle through. Tempo and pacing is the key for your double unders once you do get them, but it's 2 swings per jump. A nice, efficient little jump is what you want. Newer athletes will jump really with this big, inefficient jump that they land really hard. It's hard to get off the ground, but a nice spring, staying on the balls of your feet, and really the rope, where you keep your rope in your arms, is key to kind of maintain that rope swing and keep that speed.
So we'll see who's going to get onto the runner first. And Kari Pierce was first, but Katrin David's honor was catching up. And again, here is your defending champion, Reason Thibault. Pretty calm there, and moving on up here, 16th in the Worldwide Open in 2018. Just very, very calm. Carolyn Prevost off to the left of Reason Tebow laboring a little bit with her double unders. It looks just a little bit more labored. And there goes Catherine David's daughter. She'd raced past everybody on the double unders at 15:11, and now she is ahead of the event record pace by 4 seconds.
And that's where she capitalized on something she can do so well with the double unders. It didn't look like it taxed her at all doing them. She was super composed and just was very efficient, very quick with those doubles.
So it'll go David's daughter, Pierce, 11 seconds behind David's daughter, and then Christine Best got in. There's Gabriela Magala's event record pace, 40:15:08 from the Europe region earlier today, and it's still standing up. So here you go. That's David's daughter on your right. And the all black, Pierce in the black tights, yellow and gray top, Christine Best in the white tank top, and then that's going to be Meg Reardon, who's been to the games as recently as 2016, a former Division I collegiate field hockey player. New to the region, though. She's been in the Atlantic and in California. She runs well when it comes to sprint, third place in the suicide sprint before, but this is a much longer distance here to work your way through on this event. A few athletes remaining on those double unders, and then here's where it comes in. Now let's tell you about these chess pieces you're going to be seeing out in front of the runners. They will move forward every 400 meters. Watch for the U.S. audience. If you're not familiar with the metric system, that's one time around the track if you're running your mile. There'll be markers on the big ones at 1,200, 24, 36, and then the 4,800 meters, what equals your 3 miles. So that's kind of how you can visually keep up, and we will do our best to keep up with who's out in the lead, especially if it gets all bunched up. This is where the jockeying for position, Tanya, really takes place here in this test.
This is the part where you can't compare it to 2014 with running on the road outside. These athletes are on a runner that they're not probably used to running the distance like this. We've seen at the regionals in the past a 1 mile run on here, which seemed like an eternity. That just seems like a walk in the park compared to today. So a lot of these athletes in their events are going to use this when in their training and their regular workouts throughout the season as more of a sprint, more of a short distance. But those athletes that have done spent their time on here and done longer events, you know, they're going to be the ones that have the experience to feel what this machine does to their legs, to their posterior. Because as Carrie Pierce, you know, said, this one is a lot of work, and it's going to take its toll on the body for recovery for the rest, not just today. They're going to feel the effects of today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So, you know, especially if they haven't been used to just that distance on this machine.
Quickly, it's David's daughter, Reardon, Best, and Tebow, your top 4. Let's look at this running technique here. Katrin, experience, looks pretty calm on there. Carrie looks fairly calm right now. Starting to breathe a little bit hard, Reason Tebow in a good pace. But in the middle there, Carolyn Prevost really looks like she is kind of laboring on that runner. We saw her doing the same thing on the double unders.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Carolyn Prevost she doesn't look like she's as relaxed and as efficient as she can be. When you see arms going side to side, there's a lot of wasted movement. And she was ice hockey, professional ice hockey. She was also rugby, and sometimes those kind of athletes, soccer players, when they don't have a running background, it's kind of obvious. A lot of times, they just kind of they just kind of manhandle muscle. They power through their run rather than just be efficient through the run. So she has a lot of guts. She has a lot of gusto, and that's probably what gets her through the majority of her events. But the grace and the technique, she's working a lot harder than her counterparts here. Katrin
experienced and kind of relaxed on there when she got on that runner, waved to her mom up in the stands. We know how close she is with her family, and how big of a fan her family is of Katrin. Again, Katrin trying to make a statement here. And it's funny, when we came on, you know, the rower, you talked about, well, she's won back-to-back games but finished 5th, and that would be great for anybody. But that just sounds so irregular to go 5th place. You're still one of the 5 fittest people in the world, but after back-to-back championships.
Well, remember in 2014, she didn't qualify. She missed qualifying for the games, and that's what fueled her to come back and do so well. And so again, that's kind of what I think we're seeing again with her, that she had the fuel she needed after, you know, not taking what she wanted in last year's games.
So again, it'll be David's daughter, Caroline Reason-Thibault. Mary Pierce starting to move, still back there a little bit. She's fallen off the pace, but it'll be Best, Reardon in the mix as well. Revo back there. Pierce starting to move back up. Pierce fell off the pace, but she's sped it back up a little bit. She's still in the top 5.
When I look down the whole field of play here, and you just see Katrin just really stands out with her technique and with her composure. She really does look relaxed and smiling on the runner. So when she can settle in, it feels good when you know that you're confident in the movement and you're confident to just settle in. You know, it really is, it helps you kind of move along. And I'm sure 3 miles is a long time on there. You want to look at other things. You want to be distracted.
Here is Kareem Shroom in lane number 2, quietly hanging in there about 5th or 6th place right now. 9th in the Canada East Region, 85th in the World Wide Open out of CrossFit Bytown in Ottawa, Canada, 29 years old. 25th a year ago, 15th back in 2016. In 14, she was on Bytown's team that finished 21st. She was on a team back in 2013. Got a lot of regional experience right now, holding her on with some of the best in the world.
Yeah, Kareem is one that we usually see here, middle of the pack, and he does well enough, but hasn't really had that breakout year, been able to ever crack into that top.
Right now, hanging in the top 5. Katrin David's daughter still continues to lead with Reardon, Best, Thibault, and Pierce. David's daughter moves the chest piece, so she is about done with her first mile, past that 1,200 meter mark. 1,600 meters is your 1 mile mark, but it's David's daughter again out front. Wait, she's starting to build that lead. Had an 11-second lead when they got on the runner, and she's going to be joined by Caroline Reason-Thibault, who's about 12 seconds behind. Reason-Thibault started to make a move now, just very steady, moving up. And again, we take a look at Danny Horan out of Champlain Valley CrossFit, a long-time regional veteran. She is right next to Taylor Ballack right there out of Ocean State CrossFit. And back to Reason-Thibault, your defending East champion. Off to the right, and there is Prevost in lane 11. David's daughter just on the left side in lane number 10. Your overall leader here in the heat, and again, continues to put some space on that lead.
Katrin stays to the front of that runner as well, which is important to do. Prevost right to the right of her feet are almost falling behind. It's like she's trying to catch up, and that's just, it's more taxing on the legs, and it's so different than a treadmill, but you still feel like you're catching up. You're working so hard to make the machine move and to make that belt move, but then on the other hand, it goes quick enough that you have to catch yourself. So Katrin really making that look easy, and Reason-Thibault looking comfortable as well.
There is Katrin David's daughter. We told you earlier, threw a big wave up to her mom, who is in the stands, and there she is. And we follow her on all the documentaries, just huge, huge fans, and again, always competes, honoring the spirit of her late grandmother, who I know is a big, big influence, her mom, but big influence on her as well. So always good to have that support up in the stands.
Well, especially because she's here in Boston. Her family is over in Iceland, so she did get to spend some more time with her family in the off season being over in Iceland, but once the season comes around, she has to come over here and she trains, and so not getting to see them it definitely affects her, and so when she gets to see them in competition, it's always a great thing.
So Katrin David's daughter, a lot are across the 1 mile mark, and her chest piece way out in front. She, again, had that 11-second lead earlier, and that's just expanding, but Reason-Thibault staying about 10 to 15 seconds within striking distance right now.
Well, if there's one thing you need to remember, it's the ladies in the East. It's never, nobody runs away with it. You know, when it comes down to the third day, Sunday, all of the points from Friday really matter. When you look back at a leaderboard, like they are creating this masterpiece of a leaderboard right here without realizing it. So, you know, it's really important. Every 100 points you can get, every placement you can get is so important when it comes down to the end, because these ladies are just, they're that good that it's never easy. They never walk away with it, especially, you know, when you're at the bubble athletes. 6th place, 7th place. Those are the ladies that are usually right there, top 10. It can be anybody's game, so it is really important to maintain, especially in a longer event like this. Just keep yourself in it.
Hey guys, you know, we come to an event like this, it's 40 plus minutes long. There comes to be a little bit of gamesmanship, and if you kind of pay attention to the faces of these ladies, they all try to keep that straight face of, oh, I'm not tired, I'm not tired. Well, some of these faces are showing a different story, and the one face that hasn't changed, they've been on these assault air runners about 10 minutes so far, is Katrin Davis' daughter. She's kept the exact same form from the moment she got on that assault air runner. And while some of these ladies are starting to push and pull a little bit harder on that runner, she has stayed the exact same, calm, cool, and collected. And that's about what we should expect from the two-time CrossFit Games champion.
Thanks a lot, Nick. There is Katrin in the black top, Carrie Pierce right there in the gray top with the yellow writing as the athletes continuing to move along. That chest piece probably doesn't move quickly enough for the athletes, trying to will that chest piece forward as Carrie Pierce is taking a look, maybe sneaking a look over at Katrin David's daughter's monitor right now. Carrie, though, still sitting in third. You know, she kind of fell off early in the run, but she's kept her pace, stayed, I guess it's the term, comfortably uncomfortable right now, enough that she's breathing hard but not blowing herself up, staying in the top 3.
She has the ability to always stay right there, and that's the thing about Carrie that we do. We always see her right there. She's just on the cusp, and she can maintain. She can keep that uncomfortable feeling and that push.
So again, David's daughter and Reason Thibault, your top 2, and they have kind of gone the top 2. Once we got about a half a mile into this, about 800 meters, they kind of separated themselves. Pierce fell off, she's staying in there, and Carolyn Prevost, again, the athlete we are looking for, leaned down a little bit in the off season to try to do a little bit better in events like this.
Well, and you know, events like this, this event wasn't the first one that came to my mind when I thought about Prevost and Pierce. But Linda, today later on, both of those athletes very strong with the barbell, and same as Katrin Davis' daughter, I expect her to do just as well. But really for Prevost and for Pierce, I really am excited to see what they do with Linda today. And so I think it's going to be a great, as long as they can stay where they're at right now, I think those are going to be the top 3 coming out of the first day 1 here.
Saw Katrin David's daughter there kind of stretching out the shoulders 3 miles, especially when you're trying to slow your pace down. It's not like running on the ground. You're trying to slow yourself down a little bit. It's so easy. You lean forward to that hip, and that pose running method that we try to get everyone to do in CrossFit, so you just don't have that really impactful heel toe strike. You get that lean forward, you can really go a lot faster than you want to. So a 49-minute time cap. About a little under 21 minutes remaining. Claudia Vasquez, 42:47.95 in the heat earlier, and again the event record was 40:15. And you see Vasquez. Moving along. Now you're starting to see a little heavy breathing there from Katrin David's daughter. We're getting to the back half of this. Lane 14, Stephanie Waugh, number 1 in Canada East, number 1 in the Open, and she is a master. She won a year ago in the 35-39. She's moving up to the 40-44, but it's saying, hey, I still want to play in the Open division here. Let's see what happens.
So exciting. She did the same thing last year. Just come out, and what better, you know you're going to the games, so you might as well come out here, get a great weekend under your belt. And she took first in that division last year, and to take first in the 35-39 when you're the oldest in that division is awesome for you moving on to the 40 division. And so while she might not qualify here, she definitely, I will keep my eye on her to see what she does in that 40s division, and I'm sure the other competitors in that division are watching what she does here as well.
And let me clarify, she was tops in the Open in the 40 to 44-year-old division, but still one of the highest seeds here in this region. She's out at Brossard CrossFit in Quebec, CrossFit ADM in Brossard, Quebec, but also We mentioned earlier in the team competition, Pro 1 Montreal, those games teams, she was part of those Pro 1 Montreal teams.
In 2014 and 15, she was on that team. Went to the regionals with a team in 2016, and then last year was the first time that she went as an individual. And that's where we're seeing some of those team athletes through the years that have competed at the regionals and even the games that we just didn't know their names, and now they're breaking out because of those age divisions that we have. And even here in the individual competitions, you're seeing them come out here and it's like, oh, where were they? Oh, they've been around for a while. They've just been on the team side.
Kari Pierce, we watch a lot of the athletes try to take the deep breath through the nose. I don't know if she's laboring more than the other athletes or just likes to take that deep breath in through the mouth right there. It seems about every 5 or 6 seconds she'll take that extra deep breath, and that just may be her cadence, how she does it.
This is what she looked like a couple years ago on the runner. This is what she looks like. She will. I expect her to maintain this, and still, she doesn't always look as comfortable, but she usually doesn't fall too far, deviate too far from where she is.
Catherine Davidsdottir still maintaining the lead and continues to move along. And Chelsea Hughes out of Brett CrossFit in Grand Central Station in New York, 32 years old, and had to withdraw last year after the cyclocross event at the games. A year ago, 5th place, 22 points over Christine Best. That is a couple reps here or there getting into the games.
It was so exciting last year. She finally made it. After being on Brick's team in 2013 and 14, came to the individual side. In 2015, she took 11th at the regional, moved up to 8th in 2016, just missing out, and then last year made it in 5th. It was great to see her through. Everybody knows her here in the regional, and so it was great to see her make it to the games. Disappointing that she had to withdraw after cyclocross on the first day. But I expect big things, the confidence again. When you make it to the games for the first time, you're training with a whole year of confidence under your belt, and you want to get back.
Right now, your top 4, Davidsdottir, Reason Thibault, Best, Pierce, now Best is back in the mix. Christine Best was there, fell out of the top 5, working her way back up. And so those are your contenders right now, moving closer and closer to the 3,600 meter mark. They're about 400 meters away till they get to 3,600 meters. Again, they're chasing 3 miles, which is 4,800 meters. Christine Best right now in 4th place right there in the white tank top. Christine Best again out of CrossFit Undivided in Bohemia, New York. Last
year was her best finish. She just missed qualifying, and that was the race between her and Chelsea Hughes. Christine Best is the one who took 6th place, didn't make it to the game. So again, that is something that fuels you to train as well, not making it, being that close, 1 place away. How often do we see those athletes that just all of a sudden that lights a spark and they're that close, they can taste it, that they want it?
And 22 points, in our point system, the higher you finish, the more space you get. And that could be day 1, you finish 1st and I finish 5th. That could be the difference by the time we get to Sunday afternoon. So every spot and every event counts. You can't throw away Friday like, well, I got through Friday and now I'll really get a push Saturday and Sunday. These count now. You've got 600 points. 2nd year in a row, Tanya, that it's 6 events and not 7. There's 100 fewer points than there was 2 years ago to go out there and grab.
And that means every event is just that much more valuable. And when I look at their worldwide open scores, Christine Best was 33rd, Chelsea Hughes 55. So for them, just looking at, if we're basing it off of the open, Christine Best takes it. But this is a different competition. They did have obviously some time to practice these events, but it's all different when it comes down to the actual competition weekend.
Davidsdottir and Thibault, they are 1-2 at the 3,600 mark, 3,600 meters. So 1,200 meters, that's 3 times around the track, 3/4 of a mile remaining for those athletes. And again, Catherine Davidsdottir, just kind of that 100-yard stare. That great competitor, the 2-time champion, multi-time CrossFit Games veteran. Started out over in the old Europe region, now here, moved over to be closer to her coach, Ben Bergeron. 5th place. For anyone else would be great, but a disappointment for her, and she talked about it frankly afterwards. She's like, yeah, I mean, I wanted to win, but you win it 2 years in a row, and you get a lot of people in there hungry, but that really lit the fire under her for this season.
I got to be over in Iceland with her and Annie, and Sarah over at 18.5, and really it was so neat to see her over in her own country and just how much fun her and Annie really do have over there. And it was neat, getting to be there, but there was just something when you talk to her about just so unsettled about the games, and I think she hit the nail on the head. She said, we're going to use that finish to the best of our advantage and make it be the best thing that happened to me, and I think she will. She's going to use that place finish to get the most out of this next part of her career.
So David's daughter continues to take the lead. We're going to see about how big of a lead she's got here when Reason Thibault is able to make her way forward. Jansia Truskowski all of a sudden third in the Canada East out of Waterloo, Ontario CrossFit division has kind of inched her way into the top 5. So now we're getting some new names here with less than a mile remaining, starting to make a little bit of noise. And again, David's daughter lead is nearly a minute over Thibault. But again, we're looking here at Truskowski, again out of Waterloo, Ontario, a year ago, 28th here in the East.
And that was her rookie debut in the region, so second time here, a little more experienced than she was last year. She's 30 years old, so it doesn't surprise me when we see some of these ladies that even though they're maybe making it later in terms of age than the men's side, I don't count them out. I really don't. You think about Becca Voigt being later 30s and she was into the games. Like, you just don't see that on the men's side of the competition, but I really feel like for the females, it's a confidence, it's a physical, and it's just being able to really dial yourself in, and you have the confidence at an older age of what your capabilities are and mentally just where you're at.
Right now, Catherine David's daughter reminds me of what we saw out of Patrick Vellner in the second men's heat, and he finished third overall, won that heat. Just very calm. He never looked like he was really labored until that final 400-meter sprint. And right now, she's just as calm as she can be with a little over 800 meters remaining.
Well, and it also makes you feel a little more confident, too, when if side by side you have athletes that you feel like they're laboring. Nick had mentioned that they're trying to put on their game faces, but there's athletes that just can't put on their game faces, and right around her, they're showing their fatigue. So that makes you feel good, too, that, all right, I'm not hurting as bad as anybody, as the others out here.
All right, Catherine's moved that chest piece into the final 400. Let's see if she has a big kick in. Doesn't necessarily need to as far as looking at her competitors, but she's chasing Gabriella McGowan now for the event record, 40:15. She's got about 3 minutes, so that should not be a big issue for an athlete of this caliber.
It should be fine, and she is an athlete that has a lot of awareness, so I'm sure she knew that time going into this. So I'm sure she's watching the clock as much as the athlete said they're watching the chess pieces and they're trying to use that as motivation. I'm sure she's taking a peek at the clock and she knows where she's at.
She'll have to go a pretty good pace because they move the chess piece up, but she has a little under 800 meters. That chess piece will go to that final red line. That'll be the final 400 meters. So she'll have to move a little bit for that event record, but she should have the event win here in the East with no issue at 42:47. She's still got well over 4 minutes to get an event win here, and Reason Thibault still comfortably in second place.
And that's where I'm watching. I'm anxious to see if Reason Thibault can turn on any more here and make a push any harder than she is right now in this runner, because she needs to, and this is the time, and she looks great. She looks comfortable. She looks better now than she did earlier on the runner. She really did settle in, and I'm anxious to see if she can make a push.
Reason Thibault a little over a minute, about 1:10 behind David's daughter. That would have to be a monumental push here, that much time with this little distance remaining. So David's daughter waiting to move that chess piece into her final 400. Kari Pierce, Christine Best, they have moved up as well. Those are your top 4. Again, David's daughter, Reason Thibault, Pierce, and Best, your top 4 right now here in event number 1. This is the second and final heat of event 1 here for the women. Again, 10 minutes remaining before the 49-minute time cap. David's daughter moves at 400 meters to go with 39:07. Truskowski is in 2 in the top 5. Here comes Baker in 6th place. Reason Tebow there off to the right. Still has that loser chest piece in the final 400. Stephanie Waugh now in 7th place. Sherman Lean 2 in 8th place. Reason Tebow moves her marker up at 39.57. She's made up some ground. She's 50 seconds behind, but that's not nearly enough distance left for her to catch David's daughter. Again, David's daughter chasing 42.47. And at this point can almost walk and get the event win here down to her last 50.
But she won't. She's going to keep pushing it. She's going to keep moving, and that's going to be a very nice start for her weekend. A great start for her day 1.
Will not get the event record, but we'll get the event win. And as I said, she can just kind of cruise on, and she will not. That's not the way she's built. She'll give it all until the end here, because honestly, she's not looking at times other than her own on that monitor, especially early here in the weekend. 8 minutes remaining in the count. There goes Catherine David's daughter. She'll have to get on the finish mat for her time. And Catherine David's daughter will have 100 points, and she will start from the front, 41:10 unofficially. And she smashed the time to beat by over 1 minute and 30 seconds here in the East.
And so now Reason Tebow needs to do the same to get herself in for that 2nd place position.
95 points out there for Reason Tebow, the defending champion. And again, 42.47. As long as she finishes ahead of that, she's got the 95 points. Kari Pierce will be chasing 90 points. But the only hand up right now is the defending champs. Oh, we've got another one joining the party. Kelly Baker, who's slowly been making her way up. See if Reason Tebow can hold off Baker. And she will. She is off the runner. Reason Tebow will come in, and she'll have 95 points. She's on the mat about 42:10, so about a minute behind Catherine David's daughter. We'll see if Baker can wrap it up. 42.47. She's got to get going.
Baker was that bubble athlete, another bubble athlete last year. She finished up the region in 7th place.
Got 7 seconds, so she wants that 90 points. She'll still finish very well, but she is not going to get ahead of Vasquez. So Vasquez is going to have a very good finish here. She's going to have the 3rd place in the event. She won her heat about 45 minutes ago. Here comes Kari Pierce. She made a big push there with the 400 meters to go, 43 minutes. So she's a little under 2 minutes behind Catherine David's daughter. But Kari's got to feel good about that. Here comes Bess. Bess is going to get in 4th in this heat, and then we'll just have to wait for the official numbers on games.crossfit.com to see how everyone fell among the 2 heats. But Bess is still going to have a top 10, no issue. Lane 13, that's Truskowski. We talked about her a little while ago, and there she goes. She'll have a top 10 overall. Really nice finish. Lane number 16, there goes Kelly Baker. Had the hand up. Had to really plow through the last 400 meters, as you can see.
This is the look that we usually see at the games when people collapse over the finish line. I know it sounds sick, but I love seeing this, just the massive destruction that this event is typically having. They just cross the line, collapse, because they're just exhausted. They give it their all in the mat. I love that, to see that so early on in competition.
Drew got in there in lane 2 as well. So a little over half the runners are remaining. Lane 14, it's going to be Stephanie Waugh. Again, number 1 in the 40 to 44-year-old Open. She won the 35 to 39-year-old Masters division last year. And there will go Prevost. She is in as well. And really for her wanting to improve on the endurance, might not be a bad finish overall. We'll have to see how she compares to heat number 2, but she kind of did some damage control. She ends up with the top 15 overall. She's in good shape, especially with Linda coming up later today.
Well, and that's just it. The test this weekend is a full test of fitness. It's not just endurance. There is a lot more. So, yeah, we'll have to see how how the rest of the day goes and how this afternoon goes for Prevo with a much different test.
That was Becca Reardon you just saw finish, a games and regional veteran, former field hockey player. Now you're going to see some of the athletes moving back onto the competition floor. They're about to come into review. There's Caroline Reason-Thibault. Danny Horan still on the runner, but she is nearly done here in lane number 20. 124th in the Open, 29 years old. Best part about CrossFit, I know it may seem cliche, but if you're your average CrossFitter in the box, it sure is nice for someone to come back and tell you to keep trying, keep moving. You're almost there. There goes Danny Horan. She's going to be in just under 46 minutes. Someone to come help you tell you, pick up the bar one more time. The best part about CrossFit.
They say stay on it. They know what it feels like. They know how good it feels to finish that workout, and they want you to do the same.
Lanes 5 and 6 here. That's Chelsea Hughes in lane 5 in the black top and the shorts. That was Connors in the purple, and racing across lane 15, Mikram Corbett, Canada East, Corbett, 48th in the Open out of Montreal. Former gymnast. Last year was the first time as an individual, so still early, not an individual rookie, but she's been on plenty of teams. Pro 1 Montreal, several of those teams. Lane 17, Chloe Grogan-David, Canada, 76 in the Open. 12th in the East a year ago. She won the 2016, 10th in the East and 15. She's one of those that's been just kind of on the outside from really making that push. 26 years old, she's still got time.
She does, and she's another athlete right there, usually middle of the pack. We don't always talk about her because she's not in an event leading the event, but does well and really does hold her own among the top of the athletes, but just can't break through yet.
Chelsea Hughes, again, who finished 5th last year. She'll watch Connors make a move there in the burgundy pants, but Chelsea Hughes going to start in kind of a hole this year. She's one of only 4 athletes still working. That's not going to put her in the top half overall, so Hughes is going to have some points to make up later today once we get to Linda.
And this is where, like you said, when athletes come back and they cheer you on in your box at your own workouts, that's one thing. But here on a competition floor, when it's an event that has 20 runners and you feel like you're one of the last ones out there, you are the last one there, it can feel like you're just this lonely soul. So having a little encouragement definitely goes a long way.
Trying to make this cap to a 49-minute cap. They've got a little bit over 1 minute remaining. And again, I believe Hughes should make the time cap. Ballack and Werner on the right side of your screen, they're under their 50 meters. They should make the time cap. And there goes Ashley Werner out of Caledonia, Ontario. Right next to her, there goes Taylor Ballack out of Rhode Island. Ocean State CrossFit in Cranston, Rhode Island. Now there's 2 runners remaining, including Chelsea Hughes with 40 seconds remaining. And Kelly Wilhide over there in lane number 1 out of Boylston, Massachusetts in CrossFit Brutality. So she'll get in. There goes Hughes. She's going to get in under the cap. But she's going to have a lot of ground to make up over the next 2.5 days and 5 events here in the East. 20 seconds remaining for Kelly Wilhide, who finished 12th in the Northeast, 122nd in the Open, 14th here in the East a year ago.
The crowd's giving her some support.
She'll cap out, though, in 49 minutes. Not sure how many meters she has remaining. She was within her last 400, but nice effort, though. But it's Katrin David's daughter, who just kind of looked nice, composed, and relaxed, something you would expect out of a 2-time champion trying to return to the podium this season. Blows a kiss to her mom and the family up in the stands.
Well, the keys to this event was pace, 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 and that is exactly what Katrin did. Her tempo on the row was calm and cool. She was not the first one off the row. She was nice and relaxed. It was the double unders, actually, where she stayed composed but was the fastest. on those doubles. That's what got her the lead, the head start over everyone else on the runner. She was happy about that, and she kept that same look and that same relaxed state and that same pose the entire time on that runner for the full 3 miles, and really it was that consistency and the proper pacing got her that event win.
Just does not look devastated at all. The two-time champ trying to make a return makes a statement. She's with Nick Zielinski.
There we go. A very excited former two-time games champ, Katrin Davis' daughter, a win here in event 1. How motivated are you coming to this regional this year?
Oh, wow. I think this is the most excited I've ever been. I love competing, I love training, but this year we've been working really, really, really hard, and we want it more than ever.
A lot of fans here, too. I was going to ask you, what's the difference between last year's training and this year's training?
We want it more. More training, working harder.
How do you get ready for the next event? A lot of legs here, a lot of legs in the next one. How do you prepare for that last event today?
I think it's definitely hydrate and fuel up. I might cool down a little bit, foam roll, get some body work done, and then it's literally just get mentally ready for the next one.
Lastly, you had some fun out there. You're waving on the treadmill. Is that a message to your competitors? You're out there kicking butt, but you're still waving?
Not to my competitors. It was for me. Yeah, it's for me to, I saw my mom in the stands, give her a wave, and it's like that takes my mind off the 3 miles on the tree form, but other than that, I'm just focused on my race.
All right, Katrin, keep that smile. We'll see you in event 2.
See you there.
Thanks a lot, Nick, as Katrin David's daughter wins the event, and she's got 100 points, makes a big statement here. And we saw the long event here, and we're going to see Linda a little bit later. It's going to get on the barbell. Time to get yoked up here.